Good morning. My name is Richard Wexler, and we're about to kick off a brand new podcast. The title is going to be Elder Ed, Understanding the Complexities of Aging and Care. So why should I care about that? Well, let me ask you a few questions. Do you have any older loved ones in your life? I'm talking mom, I'm talking dad, I'm talking in-laws, I'm talking grandparents, maybe a really close uncle or aunt. Have you ever had a detailed conversation with them about their wishes as they age? I mean, for one thing, where do they want to live? Do they want to potentially move someplace? Do they want to stay in their home? What do they want to do? And God forbid they get ill or they fall or both. Who's going to take care of them? Is that you? And I know you and these older loved ones are completely prepared, right? Well, let me tell you from personal experience, this can be pretty complex. My life was going okay, I think, in the software industry, kind of minding my own business. My wife had a company out of our house. We had two young children, but they were 11 and 7. We had all four of our parents alive, my parents, her parents, and then all of a sudden, we wound up with all of them, that's right, all of them getting ill, 3 at the same time. We took care of those 3 parents for 3 years until they passed. And then the last parent kind of raised their hand and said, my turn. And we took care of her for another 11 years until she passed at 96 in 2019. I mean, think about it. We're like a lot of people. Yeah, we got all 4. Not a lot of people are going to wind up having to take care of all 4 parents over 14 years. But we're going through life. We have 2 kids. We have jobs. The kids have homework. The kids have sports. The kids have dance. They're doing all sorts of things. And then everything changed. And we, unfortunately, like most people, weren't ready for that. We had never talked to our parents about this issue. We didn't know what they wanted. We certainly hadn't planned for it. We didn't know what care was and what it's going to cost and how it's going to affect them and how it's going to affect us. And guess what? We found out the hard way. So probably a year into this, I realized I knew nothing about this and nothing about taking care of 3 parents and eventually 4 and trying to do my job and my wife trying to do her job and take care of the kids and take care of the parents. And we were drowning. So I left what I was doing, started my company called Points of Life. That was 18 years ago. So going through this and then reading everything I could get my hands on, I've learned a lot over the last 18 years. And I've literally stood in front of thousands of people and educated them about these complexities of aging. I know it's not a fun subject. You'd rather be talking about a vacation to Hawaii, the Bahamas, buying a new car, whatever. But it's real. The AARP states that currently we have about 109 million people that are 50 and over. Think about that. 109 million. And guess what? It's only going to get worse. In the next 10 years, we're going to be over 130 million people. By 2050, I know that's a ways off, we're going to be pushing 160 million people in this country that are over 50 years of age. So why am I doing this podcast? I want to try to get through to people. You don't want to be me. You don't want to be my life. You don't want to go through what we've gone through, what our kids have gone through. It's not fun. But statistics bear out that about 95% of us are going to need care. Think about that. 95% of us, whether it's a few hours, a few days, a few weeks, months, or like in our situation, over 14 years. You ready for that? I mean, I don't know who is without really getting ready for that. Medicine and medication have come so far, and people are living long lives, like to 96 and beyond. And then someone still wants to retire at 65 or 70, which is awesome. And I'll look at them and go, so you prepared financially to live to 95, 100, or beyond? And they'll look at me like I'm nuts. But that's reality. That's what's happening. So what are we going to do? Every week, we're going to bring experts in the field. We're trying to help two segments here. Help the average citizen in the public. That's the individual. That's the family. That can be really young people. This affected my 11-year-old and my 7-year-old. This can affect teenagers. All of a sudden, 85-year-old mom falls. Then 50-year-old mom gets involved taking care of her 85-year-old mom, which then has an effect on her 25-year-old son or daughter. It goes right down the chain. So I don't care what age you are, you need to understand. And with all these people that are aging, guys, it's only going to get worse. So in addition to helping the individual, the family, trying to make this as easy as possible for the person that needs care, we want to take a serious look at the elder care industry. I've been doing this for 18 years. The elder care industry really hasn't changed. We've changed a lot. Think about where you were 18 years ago. But the industry really hasn't. We need to address that. I was working in the corporate world. My company really didn't have anything to help me 18 years ago. And all the work I've done over these 18 years, I've found that most companies still don't have anything for their employee. So they're on their own. So we're going to look at employers. We're going to look at the role that financial planners and estate planners and professionals play. We're going to look at the role that home care and community care, the assisted living, the memory care facility, how they're currently doing things, and should they be doing things differently. We're going to look at this term that doesn't exist called a nursing home. There are no such things as nursing homes. They're skilled nursing, they're rehab centers, but they're not nursing homes. And most people in this country, if you talk about mom or dad or grandma leaving the house, they're going to no, they're not going to a nursing home. They could be going to a beautiful assisted living. They could be going to a memory care facility if they need it. Yeah, they may need skilled nursing, which normally comes into play after someone, let's say they fall, they break their hip, they hopefully get through surgery. Then they wind up in skilled nursing or a rehab center for a period of time, maybe weeks, a month, as they learn to move from the wheelchair to the walker to going home or going someplace else and being able to function. So looking at the individual, looking at the care patient, looking at the family, looking at the elder care industry, looking at the peripheral of this industry. Like I said, the professionals who will look at me and say, well, I'm not part of you're part of the elder care industry. Let me explain how. And let me explain how important an estate plan is, how important the appropriate financial plan is. Your CPA, your insurance broker, yeah, they're all part of it. We're going to look at this thing, this four-letter word called plan. I know it's a horrible word, but what is it? How do you plan? We're going to talk about something that I call the family conversation, the conversation that everyone needs to have with that older mom and dad, in-law, grandparent, close aunt or uncle, or guess what? Your own spouse, your own partner. We got to have a plan. And in the 18 years that I've been doing this, what's really lousy is most people don't plan. They deal with this when someone winds up flat on their back in the hospital. Mom falls. She breaks her hip. The calls start going out to families, the family members all over the country. They start flying in. They're freaking out. Mom's always been the strong person in the family. Now she's flat on her back. What's going to happen now? They don't know. They don't know. So hopefully she's going to go through surgery, and hopefully she gets through surgery and all that's great. Then what? They don't know. And what's this thing called care? And how is it going to involve them? And who's going to take care of mom? And the kids live all over the country, or maybe they even live in other parts of the world, and mom still lives in the house where they all grew up in pick a city. What's going to happen? Where's the plan? You know, people will make detailed plans for their vacation to Hawaii, from the restaurants they're going to the convertible they want to rent, to the beaches they're going to. They'll spend oodles of time planning that out. Will they spend any time with this? No! It's not fun. When I do presentations, I tell people it's not fun, but it's real. And we talk about this conversation. We also talk about conversations. What's the appropriate conversation that everybody should be having with elder care professionals? I'm going to tell you something, and I can back this up with 18 years of experience. Most elder care professionals are not having the right conversation with their prospective clients, the person getting care, or their family. They don't understand all the things that happen around the individual or the family when someone falls, when someone gets ill, or if both of those things happen. And what's going to happen, God forbid, if you're like my family and it's multiple people? Who's going to take care of that individual? Do you understand what care means? I mean, is it going to be a family friend? Is it going to be a neighbor? Is it going to be a friend? Is it going to be a professional? Where's that care going to take place? In mom's home? In grandma's home? Are they going to move out? Are they going to a nurse? No, they're not going to a nursing home. But you need to understand what those options are. And then here comes the big question. What does care cost? Guess what? It's not cheap. And it's only going to get more expensive. Where are those funds coming from to pay for care? Your piggy bank? Mom's piggy bank? Where? It's where that financial planner comes in and really understanding this and understanding what care costs and making sure, yeah, you want to retire and you want to buy the RV and you want to travel around the country, but what happens if something happens? There's a lot of ways to pay for care that most people don't even understand. And I'm talking most people in the elder care industry. And I've heard this 5 zillion times. My mom's been on Medicare for the last 20 years, so she's all... No, she's not. Medicare doesn't pay for long-term care. It'll pay for the hospitalization. It'll pay for skilled nursing, pieces of that. It'll pay for a wheelchair, a walker, things like that. Oh, well, let's get mom or dad or my grandparent qualified for Medicaid. Okay. But which places, if they're going to move out of the house, is going to accept Medicaid dollars as their full payment? Not many. Okay, well, let's bring someone, a professional in the house to take care of them. Are they going to take Medicaid dollars? Not many. You guys kind of see what we're talking about? This is a huge subject. Over the next 20 plus years, we're moving to close to 160 million people that are going to be 50 and older. I'm a boomer. My generation has not done a good job of taking care of themselves. The oldest boomers, and this is nuts, are going to be 80 in about 3 years. No more hula hoops, no more yo-yos. This is serious stuff. I've been to a zillion, okay, that's an exaggeration, assisted livings. The average age in there forever has been 85-ish. We're seeing a lot of boomers that are needing care at a much earlier age. I'm seeing late 60s. I'm seeing early 70s. People I know in the elder care industry are seeing that as well. The boomers haven't taken care of themselves. They made it through the 60s, overweight, diabetes, add whatever. What's going to happen? We're going to look at some big subjects. This is going to affect our economy. Yes, our economy. We're going to talk about that. We're going to take this apart. We're going to look at all aspects of this and how an aging nation, and guess what? We're an aging nation, is going to have to deal with an aging nation and how it's going to affect the economy, how it's going to affect society, how it's going to... We've been through COVID. We've seen what that was like. What's going to happen when there's no one there to take care of mom, dad, grandparents, whomever it may be, except the adult children? Are they going to go, thanks, Mom, great life, have fun, see you later? No, most are going to want to go help, but they have a life of their own. And they may live nowhere near mom or dad or in-laws or grandparents. They moving in with them, the older loved ones moving in with them. What are they going to do? They have a house big enough to do that, whether they're going in with the older one's going in with them. There's so much to talk about. What are we going to do from a housing perspective? This can't be a secret, guys. We got to start having a national conversation about this issue. Elder Ed, understanding the complexities of aging and care. We're going to be there weekly. We're going to bring in experts. We're going to examine all of this. We're going to educate you. Our goal is to hopefully make this easier for you, the loved one that needs care. We're going to hopefully make this better for the elder care industry. We got to examine all of this. We got to see what's working. We got to see what's not working. Once again, my name is Richard Wexler. I've given you the title of our new podcast, Elder Ed, Understanding the Complexities of Aging and Care. In a short few weeks, we're going to be with you every week. Till we talk again, have an awesome day.